Hey, to all my fight fans, welcome to Coffee with the Champ. I spent the better half of this afternoon trying to navigate this crazy studio of YouTube, and for some reason I was having technical problems beyond my control, and it's probably going down to the nuts and bolts of things. It was probably the operator and not the device itself, although I couldn't get my camera to work. But with that being said, I hope everyone took time out today to remember the men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice to enjoy our freedoms that we have today. Cookouts and stuff like that, that's all good, but the Memorial Day is remembering those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. So with that being said, I hope everyone had a great day. Now, as you know, or as you can see in my background, this is Coffee with the Champ. Long time no see, no hear from. A lot of things have been done, transpiring, and it's just been weird, and me contemplating coming back, not coming back, yada, yada, yada. So I have a funny story to tell you. Although it's not funny, I think it's very insightful. I don't think anything happens by coincidence. There are no coincidences. Everything happens because it's by divine provocation, and God is in total control of every situation. So this Friday, I happened to be getting my hair cut, and I usually leave my hat and my phone in the chair, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting in the barber's chair, and I'm just sitting down waiting, getting my hair cut, and all of a sudden my phone rings. And when my phone rings, I think to myself, this is no more than a spam call. I don't know anybody named Spam, but I decided not to answer it. About the third ring, I told the barber, I said, would you mind getting my phone, please? And he said, sure. And all of a sudden, I answer it, and I'm like, I have part of the phone in my ear and the other one on the hang up button. And the voice on the other end says this, Dale? I was like, yeah? And he was like, this is Teddy Atlas. Okay. So I'm like, I'm saying to myself, yeah, right, this is Teddy Atlas. Out of all the people to call, Teddy Atlas is calling me. Lo and behold, it was Teddy Atlas. And we began talking, and we began thinking and talking about, boxing and some other things. And I also invited him to be on the show. Teddy informed me that he's very busy. He really doesn't do a lot of things anymore. And his son requested that he do, I think his show is called Teddy Atlas or Talking with Teddy or something like that. But beside that point, first and foremost, I was just in awe that he would take the time out of his day to call me. And I really appreciate that, Teddy. If you're listening from the depths of my heart, truly, you are one of the greats. You don't get a whole lot of adulation as you should get. I think you're right up there. You're one of the best trainers that I know. But as we started talking, we started conversating about, different boxers, different things, a lot of things that were going on in boxing and stuff like that. And then Teddy did pay me like one of the greatest compliments that he didn't even know. That day, just having one of those days that, you're in a funk or something like that. And Teddy goes, Dale, you need to keep doing what you're doing. He says, guys like you and myself, we're the dinosaurs in this. We love the sweet science. And that was so appreciated. I appreciated him so much for him telling me to do that. But I had spent the latter part of this afternoon trying to get back online, doing these different things. I couldn't do it. But anyway, so let's talk about this past Saturday's fight between Rico and Usyk. And I don't want to botch the other fighter's name because I can't pronounce it properly, and I don't think that's being fair to him. Allow me to say this. There are a lot of people on both ends of the spectrum saying the fight was stopped too soon, should have gone on a distance. I mean, and listen, granted, those are opinions, and at the end of the day, Usyk gets the win. But also let me say this. If that fight was stopped too soon, we can always go back in history to see where fights shouldn't have been stopped and that were stopped. Are we going to beat the drum on those fights as well? And I have some friends out there in, Facebook and stuff like that, and we talk. I said, well, the referee is always the third man in the ring. He knows, he sees, to me, in my opinion, he has got a better view of everything that's going on, other than the people that are in the audience or watching at home. Allow me to say this. I remember I had the privilege one time of talking to Richard Steele, and we talked over lunch one time. This was several years ago, and I told him, I said, Richard, I respect your credentials and everything. I said, but I have to ask you one question. He goes, what? I said, how did you stop a fight with only 2 seconds left on the clock, and surely Meldrick Taylor would have gotten the win with only 2 seconds left? There's nothing more that he could do. And he said to me, well, what I would have done, I would have stopped it sooner. He said, because what people that were watching it on TV didn't see, or watching the audience, the sound that Julio Cesar Chavez was hitting Meldrick Taylor with. Yes, Meldrick Taylor was hitting Chavez with some good shots, maybe 5 to 6, maybe 6 to 3 shots. But the 3 shots that he was hitting Meldrick Taylor with were thudding, hurting blows. And he said if he had to do it all over again, he would have